did it. I did it. I did it. That's what I came to Japan for.
I've always dreamt about going to Japan. Even when I was young, you know, I remember being 13, 14 years old, reading a Bassmaster magazine and seeing some of the big names of the sport. Rick Clunn, Denny Brower, George Cochran, reading about those guys going to Japan to bass fish. Through a good friend of mine, Morizo Shimizu, I got an invite to come over and film for his TV show. And before I knew it, the trip was set up. You know, going over to Japan, I really didn't know what to expect, but I wanted to keep a really open mind. An open mind from the standpoint of the fishing, you know, but also an open mind to the food and the culture, the history, the people. I wanted to go to Japan and just have a trip of a lifetime and experience it all.
Hi!
Wow. You know, the minute I landed, I knew it was going to be a good trip. I had about 4 or 5 guys from Morizo's film crew, Fishing Vision. You know, one of the first things we did was to visit Tokyo and got to walk around the city and experience a lot of the history and the people. You know, the history in Tokyo was unbelievable. The temples, just seeing that was amazing. You know, my first night there, I got to experience the food and sat for a dinner with the president of Fishing Vision and had the best sushi dinner I've ever had in my life. The second day, it was off to business, and it was going to be my first fishing experience in Japan with Morizo.
Start here.
Laat ik het besturen.
Okay.
Laat.
Whiskers.
You know, the fishing was really, really tough. And that first day of fishing opened up my eyes to how tough the bass fishing really was in Japan.
First fish. First fish.
2 pounds, 10 pounds.
2 pounds, 10 pounds.
We fished so hard all day, and Morizo caught 1 keeper. And at the very end of the day, man, I was super dejected because I went a full day, almost 8 hours without catching a fish. And I wanted to say I caught a bass, my first trip in Japan. Video update, folks. We're out here on the lake. Big storm came through. We're hiding under the bridge. We've had a lot of conditions today, and we've caught. And with minutes to go before we had to put the boat on the trailer, I get a bite and set the hook.
Oh! Yes!
I told you! Never give up! Now I tell you, this isn't the biggest bass I ever caught, but this is one of the most important bass I ever caught. My first Japanese bass with my hero, Morizo!
Step Step up to Exmark, the mowers that have been beautifying landscapes for more than 3 decades. Featuring high-performance zero-turn riders like the new Exmark Radius, starting at just $49.99. With any Exmark, you'll get a great-looking cut in less time, every time. That's why landscape pros purchase Exmark 2-to-1 over the next best-selling brand. So what are you waiting for? Put an Exmark to work on your property. Find your local dealer or request a free demo today at weareexmark.com.
The second fishing trip for me, day 3, was a fishing trip on the Tomei River by myself.
Come on, let's go.
It's Dave Mercer.
Man, I was a little intimidated because I was on a new place in a new country and I had to try to catch a limit in 7 hours of fishing. As time went on during the day, I really dialed it in and figured it out, and I ended up catching 6 keepers that day with 5 really good keeper fish.
Look at that. Second bass ever in Japan, baby. First bass today on the Tomei River. Going Ike.
You know, the third day of fishing with Morizo, we were going to an unbelievable place.
Here we go. Lake Kawaguchi at the base of Mount Fuji in Japan.
You know, I got there and the scenery, the visuals of this was unbelievable. But right away I knew that something was up. With the fishing pressure and the clarity of water, I was not getting bit on standard US methods.
This lake's tough.
You know, finally, I had to dig into Morizo's bag and I found some 3-pound tests. I'd never even thrown anything lighter than 4-pound. I spooled up a rod with 3-pound and finally, I caught my first bass on a drop shot. On the 4th day, we were going to go to Morizo's home water in the city of Osaka.
The travel continues, headed to Osaka, and we're going to catch the bullet train. The bullet train. Right there. Come on, let's go. Go.
Man, I was super excited because this was a tidal river and this was a place where Morizo grew up fishing. Man, we fished so hard the whole day and Morizo was able to catch a few small bass, but I never caught one. And I got my first goose egg in Japan. You know, it really sucked, but it was motivation to not only catch a few more on my last couple days in Japan, but it was motivation to come back to Japan one day and fish again in Osaka.
Nice.
Boom, baby.
Big fish of the trip so far. Nice fish, man.
In between all that fishing, we got to go to Kyoto. And Kyoto is an amazing historic town right outside of Osaka. The temples and the old walkways and the villages were amazing. And I got to experience all that with Morizo in traditional kimono garb.
Wow.
Look at all these choices.
Yeah. Wow.
So you've never worn a kimono before?
No.
Never. First time.
First time.
My first time too.
This is Gucci style too.
Oh, it is? No, Louis Vuitton.
Louis Vuitton. Oh yeah.
Gucci?
Louis Vuitton.
Oh, I look like Kanye West. Louis Vuitton's the winner for all you fashion freaks.
Wow. Look at you. Look good.
Thank you. Looks good.
Thank you.
Very good. Very good.
Feels good.
Yes, yes, yes.
Feels good.
Wow. So we can.
Wow. With a crankbait.
You know, the other thing Morizo did on this trip is he went out of his way to let me experience the food and the nightlife of Japan. We got to experience Osaka soul food, ramen noodles.
Folks at home, I'm with Morizo Shimizu, and we've got a boatload of schooling fish. How are we gonna catch these fish? How are we gonna catch them? Eat.
And one of the best things you could do at night, Japanese karaoke.
There's a shadow hanging over me. Oh, yesterday, can't
Finally, the end of the trip, we got to travel south to a lake called Lake Biwa. And Lake Biwa is really the most famous lake in all Japan. It's a lake where the world record was caught. You know, my first day on Biwa, my goal was to catch a giant bass. I fished really, really hard all day with some new fishing techniques.
Got a little screw lock here. Take a look at this rig. Get that worm. Screw it up there in that little peg there. And then with all these weeds, we're just rigging it Texas style. Wow. 2 bites already. Right about where that boat's at. So this is a new technique for me. And part of this trip is not just about catching fish, but it's about learning. A lot of fishing pressure. Wow.
And I caught about 12 bass, but I was unable to catch that true Japanese giant, that Japanese hog that I was looking for.
It's a catfish! It's a goldfish!
Oh.
The guy caught one! Oh. 2 pounds, 10 pounds!
You know, the last day of fishing, right before I had to fly home, there was a lot of pressure. Not only fishing pressure, there were hundreds of boats on Lake Biwa that day, but also pressure on me, because to make this trip complete, I wanted to catch a giant bass out of Lake Biwa. You know, I started out with a lot of finesse techniques that everybody around me was using. But finally, at the very end of the day, I got disgusted with that. I put that stuff down, and I picked up a casting rod with heavy line and a punch weight. and a lure that I have tremendous amount of success with here in the States when fishing around grass, and it's called a devil's spear. The sun popped out for just a second, and I started seeing mats of grass. And I flipped into one of those mats, and as soon as it got through the mat and I gave it one pop, the line jumped. I set the hook on that fish. Man, my rod didn't move. My heart was pounding because I knew that this was a true Japanese hog. 8-pound fish on Lake Biwa. Man, I came to Japan, I came to Biwa to catch a big one, and I made it happen at the very end of the trip.
I did it. 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 That's what I came to Japan for. 6,721 miles for that thing. Look at that. Yabe. I love you, I love you, I love you. You know the funny thing? They smell exactly in Japan like they smell in the States. They smell the same.
And about 10 minutes later, doing the same technique, I set the hook on another one.
Big one. Oh my God, big one. God. Giant. Stay on there. Stay on there. Stay on there. Oh God. Stay on there, you sucker. Got you, sucker! Going Ike. Japan, Lake Biwa, baby.
Fought the fish of the boat, landed it. Number 2, a 7.5-pound bass, 10 minutes later. Man, after catching that second one, we literally stopped fishing. I put the rods down, and at that moment, I knew my trip to Japan was complete.
Welcome to Bass University TV, an online video training course where you'll learn champion bass fishing techniques from pro anglers Pete Glusek, Mike Iaconelli, and their talented special guests. From on the water to in the classroom, you'll learn sound techniques and strong fundamental bass fishing skills. Watch hours of video content on multiple topics at your own pace for a low monthly fee. Cancel at any time. Information is power in the sport of fishing, so learn from the very best. Subscribe to Bass University TV today.
You know, the final day in Japan, flying out, you know, I had mixed emotions. I had been gone 9 days. I missed home, I missed my family, but it was hard for me to leave behind not only Morizo, but a lot of great friends that I made in a new country I've never been to.
Here at the Osaka Castle, walking around the moat, I just spotted a couple big bass, and I was getting ready to grab my rod and go fishing, and I noticed this sign. I have no idea what it says, but I'm guessing it says no fishing. Boo! At the airport with Morizo, very sad. Yeah. I have to leave. Oh, cool. Me too. I'm very sad. Very sad, yeah. Thank you very much for an amazing trip.
You are welcome, and I'm very happy, so thank you very much. The coming Japan, so we're very happy.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. It was an amazing trip. You were a great host. And listen, next time, Morizo is coming to Philadelphia, so you're going to see a lot more of us two fishing. in Philadelphia, in the United States. That's coming soon. So we'll see you guys later. Bye.
You know, as I walked through that gate and said goodbye and was waving to Morizo and the film crew, I said one thing to them, and they understood what I said. And I said, I will be back. And I guarantee you, before my life is over, I'm going to be back to Japan. For information on the product and gear used in the show, go to MikeIaconelli.com and follow me on my social feeds at Mike Iaconelli. And if you want to help grow the sport of fishing, get kids involved. Go to theikefoundation.org to figure out information on how you could help get involved in getting kids fishing.